Why hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Trader Steve's journey across Gilenor to collect as many rare items as he can get his grubby little mitts on. Trader Steve is starting his journey in the Grand Exchange chunk, but for every new rare item he can add to his collection that's worth more than 1 mil, he can unlock a new adjacent chunk, with Trader Steve's ultimate goal, obtaining a quest cape. So we finally have everything we need to do Sins of the Father. We have all the skill requirements, we have all of the quest requirements. There's only one major thing that stands in our way still. That's completing the quest itself. Sins of the Father will take us all over Moritania, including to this newer area Sleep on the western side of the continent. So from what I can tell, we need to unlock 3 more chunks just to start the quest, and we're undoubtedly going to have to unlock even more as we progress in the quest. Now, because I don't really want to just do a quick and dirty method to unlock 1 or 2 new areas, we're going to need quite a bit. I think it might be about time for, well, another patented side quest. Now, one thing that just recently became available to me, thanks to some Slayer training we did in the last episode, is the Haunted Mine. Completing the Haunted Mine will give us access to the Salve Amulet, which beyond being an incredibly useful item, can immediately augment one of our staple moneymakers right now, that's killing and collecting shade remains. What's really nice about the Salve Amulet is it works on the Shades of Morton catacomb shades, which means if we can get the item and imbue it, that's immediately like a 20% DPS increase, more experience per hour, more money. Sounds good to me. Now this actually has another benefit, that being I need to do some combat training I feel anyway. The final boss of Sins of the Father, Vanstrom Klaus, is actually a pretty difficult boss fight. Right now we're 70 attack, strength, and defense, but we don't have piety, we don't have the best gear possible, so I think getting a few more levels will make this a bit easier. I think it might be possible now, but I'm not sure. It could be very close. So those two factors together, I think, really just leads us to one conclusion. We're gonna have to kill a ton of shades, and if we're gonna do that, we might as well get the item that will get us the biggest DPS increase. Okay, so I would actually love to pick up this Abyssal Dagger right now. I can't quite afford it, so right now we're gonna go for the Gilded Boots. I'll explain why in a minute why the Abyssal Dagger is so important for my plan, but it is. Now, in the last episode, I managed to unlock more of Moritania, including this little chunk right here, Versenhaza. This area is home to the Theater of Blood, RuneScape's second raid, but unfortunately we can't take advantage of it yet. We're just too low level. That said, one raid we can play right now is Raid Shadow Legends, the sponsor of today's video. Unlike RuneScape where you control only one measly character, and you sure do mess things up a lot, in Raid you can collect and control over 700 unique champions. Pick your champion and explore the world of Teleria in this turn-based tactical RPG. In Raid you'll be battling hundreds of unique monsters and bosses, and it will test your skill as each encounter is completely different. That said, if you're looking for something more relaxed, Raid also has an auto battle feature, which I do use when I'm kind of playing RuneScape at the same time. Probably my 3 favorite activities that will allow me to fit a little bit of Raid in is when I'm mining shooting stars, super chill, chopping some redwood logs, or when I'm thieving, anything that can distract me from that terrible skill. This month, Raid actually has a really new exciting update which will allow you to hunt for dragon eggs in augmented reality. Scour the dragon's lair using your phone, and if you find the hidden egg, you'll be entered in a chance to win amazing in-game items and even real-life prizes, ranging from legendary raid champions to Amazon gift cards worth up to $20,000. You simply have to download the game and head over to egghunt.plarium.com from April 14th to May 15th, enter your player ID, and journey through the flaming portal to embark on an exciting AR adventure. So there really is a lot going on in the world of Raid, and now is a great time to try it out. Simply use the link in my description or scan my QR code to download the game, and you'll even get some special bonuses. You'll get the epic champion, the Knight Errant, some energy refills, a skill tome, and an experience booster. And once you're in, don't forget to look me up under the name Flipping Old School to join my clan. And thanks again to Raid for sponsoring. Okay, so there we go, we unlocked the Abandoned Mine. Luckily, I think this is the only chunk we'll need to complete the quest. Now I know this boss can be kind of difficult, but we have a Trident of the Seas, I think we'll be okay. Okay, I can definitely see why this boss fight is annoying, but yeah, we kind of slapped it. Okay, so there we go. We have done the haunted mine, which gets us the salve amulet, but to get the full effectiveness out of it, we need to imbue it. And to imbue it, we need to do the mini quest Tarn's Lair. Oh my god, even with the quest helper, this dungeon is like a visual throw up. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Even with the quest helper, I'm still messing things up. Oh, there we go. We got a nice 5k Slayer experience for that, but more importantly, Tarn's Diary, which we use to imbue our salve amulet, which we have to make. So with that, we can imbue the salve amulet to create the salve amulet enchanted, and that gives us a 20% damage and accuracy bonus against undead creatures, which is huge. There's one problem with this though. As I no longer can use my berserker necklace, I can't use the obsidian sword anymore. I broke the set effect, which means we need to get a new weapon if we want to train strength. And that's why the abyssal dagger is kind of important. For now though, we can use the whip. That's plenty good enough. Hopefully by the time I reach like 75 attack, I will have earned enough money to buy myself the abyssal dagger. I could get a cheaper strength weapon, but at this point, it's on the list. It would mean another chunk unlock, and we really need a strength training weapon anyway. So partly maybe due to my videos, or maybe I've just been killing way too many of these Asin shades, but it's gotten to the point where I think we might want to move on to another shade in the catacomb, specifically the fire shade. But to access them, we need a silver key, and to get that, we need 65 fire making, which we're actually just going to go ahead and knock out right now. It shouldn't take too long, and we're going to use maple logs because they're so cheap. There we are, finally 60 fire making's done with. I can now burn yew logs, and although I told myself I was just going to save money, use maple logs the whole way, it's been a rough day. We're going to treat ourselves and just buy some of the experience quicker. It honestly won't cost that much, only 250k, and that should speed things up a lot. So a couple hours later, and there is 65 fire making, which means we can now go ahead and get our silver key. To do it's pretty similar to how I got the other one. This time though, we're going to be burning yew logs, and conveniently these Asin remains I've collected so many of. Oh, there we go. There is the silver key, which will give us access to the part of the dungeon that we are looking for. Now the fire shades are a little bit higher level, which means they'll do a bit more damage, but in theory our combat experience should still be notably higher. They have more hit points, and of course we now have the salve amulet, which means our combat training should now be a lot quicker. Alright, so I was able to collect 330 fire remains. That took a while. From my testing, our XP per hour has increased by about 10,000, which is quite a lot, so it's definitely worth going for. Not to mention the salve amulet will be extremely helpful if we unlock Vorkath, if we unlock, I don't know, anything else that's dead. I checked though, and it doesn't work against Vanstrom Klaus. That's a little bullshit, but okay. So right now the fire remains are only going for around 4,300, but that should still bring us about 1.5 mil. Now one benefit of switching over to these fire remains, they sell way quicker. So I did a little napkin math, which probably isn't right, but I think if we liquidate a few items from our bank, we should be able to afford that abyssal dagger. So I think we should just be able to get it for 2.6 mil, but it didn't insta-buy, so we're gonna have to be patient. Well, there we go. There's 73 attack, interesting level, and 88 combat. But more important, if we can actually go ahead and find the message, we have purchased our abyssal dagger. So we are entirely out of money, but we do have our strength training weapon, and that's really all we need. But for now, we're going to go to 75 attack and strength, and hopefully that will earn us enough money to get started with Sins of the Father. Now, there are actually quite a few different ways to get to the town of Sleep. You can come in through the south from Versenhaza, you can go down from Port Phasmatis, this boat goes there, you can come in and around here. There are a lot of options, but I think by far the closest one will simply be running north from Versenhaza, and after double checking this, it looks like we'll actually need 2 chunks to start the quest, which is nice. We will 100% need this chunk anyway, but for now, we can at least get started with the quest a bit sooner than I had been anticipating. All right, so this chunk contains the southwestern corner of the Town of Sleep. We've also unlocked this boat here from Andres, which I think actually might allow us to go all the way up to here, which is actually a thought. I was originally going to take the charter ship to go to Port Phasmatis, but that might just be just as good. Interesting. Well, we'll think about that. What else do we have here? We got a bit of the town, a couple ranges, but I think that's pretty much it. So we're just off the start location, but that's okay. We're going to make some money. Okay, so we're actually getting kind of destroyed by these higher level shades. I don't know why. We're taking so much damage all of a sudden. So I decided to make a quick pit stop to get ourselves a tank body and tank legs. Not ideal because that'll lower our DPS a little bit, but I find I'm eating food so often that I think this might actually increase our experience rate just being tankier. So that's actually a pretty important level. 75 hit points is pretty big because we can now wear Zenyte jewelry. Now, I am of course too poor to afford Zenyte right now, but I think it's in the nearest future. I mean, I could see myself getting a torture once we unlock Darkmeyer, and we now have the level to do that. So that is it. We're done with 75 attack and strength, purely just killing these fire shades. 75 attack unlocks a giant list of weapons, just too many to even mention. But now the really important question here, how much money have we earned from this, and do we have enough to actually get started with Sins of the Father? Now, from pretty much level 70 to 75 attack and 70 to 75 strength, I've purely been killing fire shades for those levels, and I've actually saved up a number of them. Look at all of them. We have a few still selling off, but I have no idea how much in total we have. Let's just go collect this offer and see how much cash we're gonna get. 5.3 mil from all of those, plus we have a few selling off, and I think even a few more in the bank. So we have another 175 of them to sell for about another 800k, so we have about 6.5 mil. So a pretty profitable grind. Now I kind of scoured the list for some combat gear that could be useful for the upcoming Vanstrom Klaus fight. For the most part though, I think I have pretty much everything I need. So I'm actually going to go for a skilling item, and that's going to be the Dragon Pickaxe. This thing has gotten a lot cheaper recently. It's only a 2 mil item, but we just have the mining level to use it, and that will leave us a bit of cash left over, which will give us a bit more flexibility because certainly I will need more chunks than just a quest start location. So this will leave us with 3.3 mil left over. Can we build this? Yeah, look at that. Dragon Pickaxe acquired. So the quest start location, I believe, is right in this graveyard, talking to Valley of Hurts. Now, I'm not really sure how far in the quest I can make it before I'll need another chunk. I haven't done this quest since it came out in 2018. We're gonna see how far we can make it though. We should have enough money to afford at least one more chunk, maybe two if we stretch it. Let's just see if we get immediately screwed here. Okay, off to a good start. We're using the Abyssal Dagger because why not? It needs to get some use somewhere. Okay, it's time to click the arrow. Are we out of luck yet? Oh, okay. No, actually, we have access to this area. We're going to Paterdomus. Oh, this isn't looking good. Not amazing, unfortunately, because this chunk, there's not much in it. Looks like we have to go a little south of Frankenstein's castle. Oh wait, there's huge content here. There's the Werewolf Agility course. I mean, I'm pretty much committed here. No matter where it tells me to go, I just have to go there. So we pretty much have to unlock this chunk. No questions asked. Now, I've kind of been tactically avoiding the very bottom of the list because right now all those items are almost entirely useless. But I've been kind of saving a useless item for a useless chunk. Now we have 3.4 mil, and looking at the bottom, there's an item I've avoided for a while. The Dark Tuxedo Jacket. Looks like we can buy it for about 1.3 mil, not bad. Let's see if we can actually pick it up for that price. We can. What's this thing look like? Actually, pretty fashionable. I look very vampiric with this thing on, but the stats are bad, so it's going in the bank for now. Now I hope the person I'm looking for is located here. Yep, there's Vanstrom just in the northern section of the chunk. Hopefully you don't immediately bring me to somewhere else random, but I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Hey, look at that, we're doing a temple track. I got some practice at this now. Aww, what? They don't drop the nail beast nails in the quest. That's lame. Alright, so the next casualty for Sins of the Father is going to be the Icene Graveyard chunk. Definitely no getting around this one. We're just about to take a boat here from Bergerath, and this is a pretty pivotal location in the quest. So right now our cash stack is at 2.1 mil, which means we can afford the Dagenhai Robe Bottom. This item has actually gone down a little bit recently, only worth around 1.5 mil right now. So I was able to pretty easily pick that up, and now we have some somewhat fashionable bottoms. So we have made it to the Icene Graveyard, and immediately we have to go somewhere else, of course. Now one kind of small side benefit of doing Sins of the Father is we've actually unlocked the Bloodveld as an actual doable Slayer task, and in one of the best locations in the game, so not bad. This is a little bit close, but I think we'll make it. Alright, so with that done, it is now finally time to head into Darkmeyer proper. Okay, so I technically unlocked Darkmeyer in the previous episode, but we couldn't access it. Although, I don't think we can still do anything yet. Okay, so looking at the layout of Darkmeyer, it looks like we do have to unlock another chunk here. Not the end of the world, because it has the hallowed sepulcher in it, and we would have 100% unlocked that anyway. But I don't actually think it's possible to progress in this quest any further. We have to run around the side here, and unfortunately this chunk border just blocks us off. Alright, so we sent another 200-ish shades to the Shadow Realm, and after selling their corpses, we're up to about 1.5 mil, which is enough to buy another item to fill out the bottom, the Team Cape X. We're able to buy it for around 1.4 mil, a lot of blue on it actually, but that will of course allow us to unlock another chunk. Now East Darkmeyer has one big thing in it that I'm really excited for, the hallowed sepulcher. The hallowed sepulcher is probably something I'm going to try to work towards in the near future, at least when we've actually fully unlocked the city, so I'm happy to have it. Besides that though, there's just a few ranges, some vyres we could thieve from I think, but the hallowed sepulcher is the main draw from this chunk. There's the entrance to the hallowed sepulcher, super exciting to have this unlocked. Well, that's annoying. Oh, god damn it. Why did they put it here? They just had to use every bit of land. Oh my god, the final NPC we have to talk to is just in this random ass chunk here. We're literally minutes before the boss fight. I'm all geared up, and yeah, we're just have to go make some more money, I guess. Okay, we are really scraping the bottom of the barrel. The teacher wand is still on the list. It is near the bottom. 1.1 mil for that bad boy. We actually even sold a few items out of our bank, but that will do. Teacher wand acquired, and finally. But with that, I think we have everything in order. It's time to take on the boss. So it's finally time to take on Vanstrom Klaus. Now this boss fight's actually kind of hard, and it boils down to one main reason. You gotta use this absolutely terrible weapon. It's the only thing that will damage it, and to go along with it, we don't have very good gear. I mean, just look at me. I should be prioritizing magic defense, but the best option I have right now is blue D-hide. Now the main strategy here is to attack him once and face the other way. The reason for that is his darkness attack is very hard to predict, and it does a lot of damage, but will be mitigated if you're a tile away facing the other direction. Now there are a few other special abilities, but for the most part they're pretty easy to mitigate, but I'm pretty confident we'll be able to make it through the main stage of this fight. What I'm a little worried about is his enrage phase. This phase is kind of just a DPS check for me. You can't really pray against his attacks and they're really quick. Okay, so this run's definitely over. We're not making it, we ran out of supplies, but we made it pretty far. Okay, this is actually looking very promising. What? missed like 10 times in a row. Oh my god, not again. Don't do it to me. Yes, there we go. Actually, it wasn't too bad. That was only our third try and we got it. There we go. Finally, our main goal in Mortania is done with. Sins of the Father is complete, which honestly has unlocked so much content. The city is going to have so much to explore, and on top of that, we also got an experience tome, similar to the other ones. Okay, now I'm 99% sure we can destroy this tome and claim it back later, because once again, I would love to use it on Slayer, but we need a higher Slayer level to be able to use it, so we're just going to ditch it for now, claim it back later. Okay, so our main goal in Mortania has finally been achieved. Sins of the Father is done. We have access to Darkmeyer, a whole plethora of new moneymakers. So what is the next goal? Now, although we have access to Darkmeyer, we're not actually high enough level to do most of the content in the city. To unlock the hallowed sepulcher, we have a whole host of smaller skill requirements we need to unlock. To steal from Vyres, we need to get our thieving level up a lot. So really the next main goal is to try to knock out all of the requirements for the main content of the city. Now with that said, there actually are a few things I already have unlocked, mainly blood runecrafting. I actually have a high enough runecrafting level to craft blood runes now. That's super exciting. This means that we can use the Abyss now to go directly to the true blood altar, which means I think now blood runecrafting is springboarded to the very top of my highest money-making methods. But the first money-making method I'm going to be trying in Darkmeyer is actually going to be killing vyrewatch sentinels. This is now an amazing combat money-making method that I can do that's incredibly AFK and gives me a chance at getting a 6 million GP item, the Blood Shard. Now killing vyrewatch sentinels is dead easy. You simply run into the middle of Darkmeyer with Protect Melee up and some super combat potions, and you just go to town with Auto Retaliate on. Right now I'm prioritizing prayer bonus so I can AFK longer. And there's even these convenient altars right here that means that we don't even really have to bank very often. So with my combat level, I think I'm making close to about 500k per hour on average if you average everything out. The real question is, can we get a blood shard? Okay, so over the last couple of days, I was able to kill around 800 vyrewatch sentinels. The drop rate for a blood shard is 1 in 1500, which means we're about halfway to the drop rate, but no luck so far. That said, thanks to all of the alchables, runite ore, runite bars, we've earned ourselves about a mil just in regular drops. Now what is that money going to be going towards? Well, actually unlocking the hallowed sepulcher. Now I actually have the agility requirement to access it. I could technically start running it now, but to be able to get loot, I actually need quite a few other skill requirements. We need 66 thieving just to be able to loot the coffins, 56 construction to be able to make the bridges, 54 prayer to light the braziers, and 62 ranged to pass the pillars. So there's actually a lot to unlock, but the first thing we're going to actually work on is construction. Now 56 construction and 54 prayer is going to cost us actually a fair bit of money, so we need to make some money, and what better method than crafting blood runes? We just unlocked the true blood altar, we might as well take advantage of it. So we're going to go ahead and buy a blood essence, the first one ever. These are definitely worth using. Each one will eventually earn us 1,000 extra blood runes, which just increases our profit per hour, so we 100% should be using those. Besides that though, it's a pretty similar process to any of the other runes I was crafting. This time we're just going to go through the blood altar, and from there we're just going to craft runes normally, except this time we're getting 22,000 GP worth of blood runes every run, which is going to equate to about a mil per hour. I think this is my first 1 mil per hour money making method that's consistent. Alright, so we just finished up with an hour of blood rune crafting, and it looks like in an hour I was able to craft pretty much right around 6,000 blood runes, which is pretty good. How much is that worth? Well, just right around 1.2 mil. We do have to take off a bit of money for blood essence, but we're definitely making over a mil an hour crafting blood runes. So this is certainly now my best money making method I have access to. Just had to be rune crafting. So we'll go ahead and sell those off, bringing our current cash stack up to 1.6 mil. So I went ahead and bopped a few more vyrewatch sentinels. No luck on the blood shard, but just from all the alchables and other people's drops I've picked up, yes, I'm sneaking around like a little rat, we're back up to 2.6 mil. So I decided I would just finish off my runecrafting level. I was already halfway to 78 runecrafting. 78 runecrafting doesn't mean anything in particular, but it does mean I crafted 23,000 blood runes, which is worth about 5 mil. So after selling them off, we're actually up to a 7 mil cash stack almost, but we're gonna spend that pretty quickly here. Now for the hallowed sepulcher and for killing vyrewatch sentinels, getting my prayer level up would be pretty nice. And I've thought about it for a while, and I think the best way for me to train prayer is simply to actually build an altar in my own POH. The wildy altar is way too far, the active functus is way too annoying, so we're actually just going to level up my construction, I think, to 61, so I can at least get the incense burners. So that will cost me 1.9 mil just to get the construction levels, but it's a requirement for the hallowed sepulcher anyway, so it's not entirely a waste of time. So the entire way we're just building oak larders. There is 56 construction, which is actually the level we need for the hallowed sepulcher. We can now fix the broken bridges, but we still have 2,000 planks to go. So there we go, there is 61 construction, which is actually a pretty important level for me. So we're now able to build a mahogany altar and the incense burner, which means in total we're going to get 2.5 times the regular prayer experience. It's not quite as good as a gilded altar, but it'll do for now, and overall will save me a ton of money on my prayer experience. So now for the dragon bones, we need 550 of them, which will cost me nearly 2 mil. If I just buried these in the ground, it would cost me like 6 mil or something. So now we simply have to teleport to our house with 2 marintils and a tinderbox, light the burners, use all the bones, and repeat, that's it. So there we go, another requirement for the sepulcher done with 54 prayer. Not to mention this will allow me to AFK the sentinels quite a bit longer as well, but we're too poor I think to do any more prayer training. So here we are once again back at the canvas course, getting my graceful set back. We are finally done with our graceful grind. Another 15 or 20 hours of my life we're not getting back. So we'll grab the graceful top and gloves, and that is done with. The full set is acquired. This also had the benefit of getting us actually perfectly to 62 agility, which means we will now have access to the first and second floor of the sepulcher, which is a much better start. And that means we only have 2 requirements left. Now the major one is thieving. We actually have quite a few thieving levels we have to get. In no super great way to train the skill. I decided though that we would get the rogue's outfit. We were right here, so might as well grab it. We're certainly going to be doing some pickpocketing. So I thought about this for a while, and I honestly could not think of a better option that is within the chunks I've unlocked already than simply stealing from guards. This is literally what I did on my GE locked account, but I really just cannot think of something better. I can't do blackjacking, I can't do fruit stalls. I think we're gonna have to go with this. Wait a second, this level reminds me of something. I totally forgot about the Knights of Ardoin. Yes, these are actually a pretty good option. Okay, this has just gotten so much better. There we go, okay, so we just rattled off 11 thieving levels and earned ourselves about 500k just in pickpocket loot, so the rogue's outfit definitely paying off. That's actually a really important one. Without it, we couldn't get any loot from the sepulcher, which is definitely something we want. And that just leaves one measly requirement left, 62 ranged. I don't know, there's probably a better option out here, but this one is just so iconic. We're gonna shoot some ogres for a while. Have you ever seen ranged gear more perfect than this? The Dorishkon crossbow, the Odium ward, the 300 GP boots, and the Robin Hood hat. I don't know. But there we go, after a moderate ogre training session, we are finally up to 62 ranged, which is the final requirement for the hallowed sepulcher. But that's it, we now have access to all of the potential loot, and also got a few useful levels along the way as well. So now we just have to go kind of gear up, figure out what we need, and we can start doing the hallowed sepulcher. So here we are, the hallowed sepulcher chamber. We are ready to go. We have all the skill requirements required to get started with some agility training, and I'm planning on sticking here for quite a while. I want to try to get maybe the entire Dark Graceful recolor from scratch essentially, and just kind of see how much loot we get along the way. Do we get the pets? Are we gonna get any lockpicks? I don't know. How much money are we gonna make? But that's all gonna be saved for the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as always. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now, before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to Alejandra, Mitch Reinders, The Hybrid, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier. You guys are awesome. I do really appreciate it. Also, thank you to Kapersky, YoYoSub89, and NDM0001 for being subscribed at the Runite tier. Thanks to everyone again, and I'll see you next time.